Hey guys, Kevin Cage back with another cryptocurrency video. Let's get into some Ripple XRP news. Be sure to hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and I do apologize, a dog may be barking in the background. So, without further ado, first things off, Peter Pumpkin Eater on Twitter at Yes I'll Have Some, just tagging us in this update recently, and again, this was just an hour or so ago. And if you notice on the Ripple website, they are showing SBIVC with, of course, the currency pair XRP and JP, or the Japanese yen. So visit SBI. So very, very exciting here. Of course, we already have some other XRapid partners. Perhaps this is because the launch is coming. I'm excited to see what happens during the maintenance time for SBIVC's website on the 31st. And again, remember, their time is based in Tokyo. So please consider that for July 31st. Next up, Peter Voss at Peter, and it's VAS 6. Definite follow. And let's just see what he has here. And we've seen this circulated, but again, I'm happy that this is back. So let's check it. So, at the launch of full-scale services, expecting customer inflow from the SBI Group's customer base of 23.47 million, so let's just say 23.5 million customers, specifically SBI Securities with approximately, and I'm just going to estimate, 4 million accounts. SBI, I'm not Japanese, SBI Summation Net Bank with approximately 3.21 million accounts, and SBI Liquidity Market, including SBI FX Trade with approximately 1.05 million accounts. This is huge, guys. Look at all these accounts. Look at all these customers. We are getting real attention here in the Japanese market, at least, and that's fine. Japanese will have to kick things off for us, in my opinion. Through mutual collaborations between business ecosystems, endeavor to realize a seamless trading environment between existing financial ecosystem companies. All right, so we have FX Trade, Liquidity Market, this giant net bank, and then, of course, SBI Securities. So exciting times, guys. Millions upon millions of accounts and customers. So we'll see what that brings. And regardless, guys, if SBIVC does not lead to a substantial price increase in XRP overnight, what I'm saying is we need to develop these corridors, develop the liquidity options. The barrier to entry has never been lower. Of course, XRP is on all these exchanges, but now we need that barrier to entry to, dissipate more so for the real clients that are going to be using XRP and actually drive the price up based off of utility. So that's what we're really waiting for. Either way, this is massive success. And again, I think this is, primarily thanks to Yoshitaka Kitao. All right, XRP boy, just some cool snaps. Some cool little screenshots I want to show you guys. So let's just kind of go over a few quotes. The CEO of Ripple. We're going to drive a massive amount of demand for XRP because we're solving a multi-trillion-dollar problem. All right. So who says they're just going to be using Ripple and Xcurrent? And again, Xcurrent 4.0 utilizes XRP. They have a vested interest in seeing this ecosystem thrive. They want to use XRP to source liquidity. It is by far the only way to solve this problem at this point with this technology. Of course, the XRP ledger is far superior. XRP is going to be a key component. It is not going to stay at less than $1 for much longer. And if it does, it's not going to stay there forever. And that's why I'm invested in this. I'm not going into some altcoin where I can get a 20x and potentially lose everything. This is something that I can hold for life, especially if the US dollar, faces too much inflation. I don't want to have to worry about that. Next, Swift GPI is like putting a Ferrari shell on a Model T engine. It's a cosmetic upgrade on old infrastructure. Messaging is still not tied to settlement. It's unidirectional and can't solve for liquidity. And I'm going to show you a graphic in 1 minute, and I want to, bring this back to this. So again, Swift GPI, it's still messaging, and it's not tied to settlement. Remember, settlement is going to require XRP on the XRP ledger, and I'll explain that. And again, with Ripple, their software products, they have bidirectional messaging, and I'll show that as well. I'll try to remember. Next, Bitcoin's influence over cryptocurrency prices could end soon as markets begin to understand the major differences between cryptocurrencies and their use cases. Exactly. We are in the speculative market right now. When the utility bull run comes, we are going to see who the real king is. And these markets are still very young. It's a marathon, not a sprint. I'm telling you, you look at these fundamentals, be that visionary, and you're going to see in the future. Next, hype versus reality. reality. Hype versus reality in blockchain and crypto is way out of whack. Experiments are not a business model. Agreed. Ripple is going deep within customers, solving real problems and seeing real progress. And I feel like I've been saying this like the last 10 videos at least, that Ripple's not, some cryptocurrency they made up out of thin air. They're saying, oh, this is what it's going to do and it's a great idea and it's going to solve this. They just found a multi-trillion-dollar problem in terms of, for banks, corporates, institutions, some of the, of course, estimated at anywhere from like 23, 24, even high figures, whether it's 10 trillion to 27 trillion dollars in dormant capital sitting idle in these Nostro and Vostro accounts, because banks need that money idle because they do not have the liquidity for these payments. This is huge. And again, it goes far beyond just mere remittance, payments and, the market as a whole. This is massive. And remember, remittance has, a few definitions. It's the basic definition for this is it's usually understood as like money or goods that migrants send back to their families or friends in, their origin country. And again, that's going to help these smaller countries as well. But we're going to use R3 with the quota settler, and it's going after the huge industry verticals as well. All right, what I want to talk about, XRP Neo. This is a great illustration. All roads lead to XRP. And this graphic, I believe, was made by Bread Garlic House. So check him out, definite follow. So let's check this out. Feeling a bit unsure about XRP adoption? FUD getting to you? Wondering if Swift GPI is a threat to XRP adoption? Just look at this next time you feel that way. How everyone and their grandma will use XRP. And so again, let's just take a look. So we have the tier 1 banks, we have the tier 2 banks, and we have the recipient banks on the outside. If you take a peek, we have the green line that stands for settlement, which will be, of course, XRP, and we have this orange reddish line for payment. If you pay attention here, we've got Swift GPI. I just kind of want to zoom in a little bit. Hopefully it loads. Sorry if it doesn't. All right, whatever. But anyways, as we can see, again, Xcurrent is Ripple's enterprise software. It's enabling banks to instantly settle cross-border payments with end-to-end tracking. All right, payments, not settlement. Pay attention to that. And with Xcurrent, banks message each other in real time. They confirm payment details, before the transaction, confirm delivery when it settles. There's, various rulebooks developed. And it's hands down very, very helpful. But they still need XRapid for the settlement aspect. All right. And then again, of course, we have XVIA as well. And, that's just for like payment providers and banks. And they send payments across different networks using like a same standard interface. But notice how we have the XRP ledger in the center of all of this. So we have Swift GPI. That's still payments. It's just a fancy messaging platform using, credits and debits. And maybe the front end consumer doesn't know any better. But on the back end, it is not solving the problem for settlement. So what does Swift GPI need to do? Actually utilize the quota settler, the open sourced blockchain platform, and their first settlement mechanism, XRP. And again, Swift is a giant monster with 11,000 banks. They own the market today. But again, even the previous CEO of Swift said, who's the real giant in this David and Goliath scenario, in this analogy? And the Swift CEO, Gottfried, even said that Ripple's the real Goliath in this scenario. All right? So again, we have banks that will be able to go Xcurrent for the payment, but then in terms of settlement, they need to source liquidity using XRP. We're still going through this ledger. And we have MoneyGram as well, local payment rails. So it's a really, really cool illustration. I believe Bread Garlic House made this at Bread Garlic House. Sorry if I'm saying it wrong, but appreciate that because it's a really nice illustration. So I'm probably going to have to save that. All right, let's zoom out. Next, just a quick reminder. So XRP_mommy. Let's be real. XRP is not a gamble at this point. It's a golden ticket to financial freedom. Just wanted to show that. Pretty interesting. Next, this tweet was shared to me by Marshall Moe, so appreciate that. And he said, this is what Ripple is doing to help combat these fees. And again, we're referring to these smaller countries. As we can see, remittances are a lifeline to low and middle income countries, but the cost of sending money home can be high. In the most expensive corridors, these emerging markets that absolutely need help because they don't really have that fiat pair in the currency pairing that requires, cheap payments as well, and the liquidity in those markets, remittance costs average over 18%, 18.7% of the money transferred. So let's just see some of these countries. We have Thailand to India, Tanzania to Uganda, Thailand to China, South Africa to Zambia. Look at these fees. They're all almost all over 10%, nearing 20% in fees. That's just crazy to me. So that's one of the many use cases that XRP will help with, to help everyday people and not just help these corporations and, banks thrive as well. Next, very cool. Always appreciate the tweets by XRP Neo at XRP_Anderson. This is where I think, hope, and it's speculation, but again, it is logical speculation, where we are now. I do believe they will ramp up XRapid liquidity soon for the banks. What I believe points to this. SBI virtual currencies going live in Japan. I think they wanted SBIVC live in order to go ahead in Japan with the XRP JPY. Next, the MoneyGram deal in order for multi-hop. Multi-hop needed for places lacking regulatory certainty for banks to start using XRP, mainly the US, the United States. David Schwartz appeared in Alex Cobb's YouTube live stream the other day, and again, he's the CTO of Ripple. And he appeared in them mentioning payment company in the US doing the XRapid for the bank. Come on, MoneyGram, of course. So very interesting. And again, basically David Schwartz is just explaining that there's a legal workaround that they can do by using XRapid partners instead of making banks buy the XRP on the order books, because there's still not a lot of regulatory certainty. So this is a complete legal workaround. It's well known, and it's very, very exciting. So again, Ripple's adapting. They're working with regulators. If they say they can't do this, they're going to say, yes, sir, we appreciate that. How can we come to an agreement? And they work on that. And they're working on that fine. And every other country in the US is either going to fall behind or hop on board. There's no other options. They're not going to classify it as a security. You've been hearing me say this forever. They are not going to classify XRP as a security. There's going to be some new fancy name for it, a new classification, whether it's just digital asset or something. So why would Schwartz randomly do this? Q2 market report talking about Ripple reducing the over-the-counter sales to focus on on-demand liquidity for exchanges. This definitely points to them starting to ramp up the volume. How to otherwise interpret this? And I'd have to agree. So very, very interesting, exciting times, guys. And again, we're right around the corner with SBIVC. I've been in this bear market so long, honestly, a lot of us, and I believe, what was his name? That XRP Martian YouTube channel had a great video today, so check his channel out. It was awesome. Highly speculative, but there was still logic mixed with it. And he just made some great points that, we still remember what that bull market felt like, and maybe an 18-month, 19-month, 20-month bear market can get to you, but you'll never forget that feeling, especially if you've been in a few. So it's for those that have the willpower to stay strong, cost dollar average if they want, or simply just hold and forget about it. Don't even watch these videos if it's, too mentally and emotionally taxing. Just forget about it. Pretend you lost the money, pretend you don't need it, and come back in, who knows when, whether it's a week or a few years. It's an investment, not get rich quick. Next, this is a really cool string. I'll try to be brief, though. So Swift Distributed Ledger Technology is the future, and this is Matthew Linney, L-I-N-Y. So right here, and this is back in January 2017, so the final phase of Swift's GPI implementation, which is already underway, looks at exploring the potential use of using new technologies such as DLT in the cross-border payments process. All right, so they're looking at how they can use GPI. Remember, this is only payments. It's a fancy messaging platform. This is not settlement, which settlement is what XRP will be used for and can actually help. And in my opinion, Swift just does not have the funds or the ecosystem to actually build out a successful digital asset at this point. And Ripple's been building XRP for years. And again, they're already paired with R3. They're going to use Corda. It's just widely believed at this point, and gets more likely by the day, that Swift will just partner up with R3 and use XRP through them indirectly. Again, to this end, in January 2017, Swift announced the launch of a proof of concept to explore whether DLT can improve the reconciliation of banks' Nostro databases in real time and also optimize their global liquidity. So they're trying to solve this problem. They know it's an issue. And this liquidity crisis is getting to the point where it's too much. We need an actual internet of value. We should be able to send information effortlessly by now. And it's very embarrassing, frankly, that we can't. And even, who was it? Was it the chairman of the DTCC? Of course, they clear, well over $2 quadrillion a year. He said, frankly, it's embarrassing that I can order a package off Amazon and get it to my house before I can complete payments in certain corridors today. In terms of settlement. That is embarrassing. All right, but again, they preface this that the maintenance and operational work involved is a significant portion of the cost of making cross-border payments. So the proof of concept, which is set up for a closed user group in a sandbox environment tests whether DLT can help banks to reconcile Nostro accounts more efficiently and in real time, at lower costs and operational risk. Proof of concept is scoped in collaboration with 33 banks, including Deutsche Bank, acting in the validation group. So now we're going to go next, and we're going to be a little real here. This is Stuart_XRP, and he shares this. And basically, just to sum up everything, they say it's not going to be as easy as it sounds. Again, there's 11,000 members in this group. And look, it says there would be significant operational challenges to using blockchain technology for all of its 11,000 members. So this is the hiccup. This is the hurdle that they have to overcome. So again, right here, this is not least because the 28 banks that ran tests in the system required the creation of 528 subledgers to avoid confidential information being seen by rival banks. So they still need to, have some privacy to an extent. To roll it out in all of Swift's members, they estimated would require 100,000 subledgers to be created. So all these changes are requiring so much change as well. And to be built, build and configure these subledgers, they need to find a workaround again, because this is going to be too timely, and we do not have the time. The world is going towards another global debt crisis. It's a matter of time. But Matt came back with this and said, Stuart, do you have this document? And this is January of 2019. Swift announces a proof of concept to trial GPI Link, a gateway to interlink e-commerce and trading platforms with Swift's GPI, the new standard in cross-border payments. So this GPI Link gateway will enable trade platforms to offer fast, secure, and transparent settlement of payments by GPI banks. GPI Link will allow GPI payment capabilities to be embedded directly into e-commerce and other trading platforms. First, GPI Link proof of concept to launch with enterprise blockchain software firm R3. And that's what I wanted to get to. Now, the first stage of the proof of concept right here will work on R3's leading blockchain platform, Corda, which I was already alluding to. Boom. And aims to bring the benefits of GPI payment speed, ubiquity, and certainty to DLT-enabled trade. The proof of concept addresses the need for distributed ledger technology-based commerce to be supported by global, fast, secure, and transparent settlement using fiat currencies by enabling off-ledger payments settlement based on GPI. And again, corporates using this R3 platform will be able to authorize payments from their banks via GPI Link. So guys, look at all of this progress that they're making, dropping R3 in the Corda, and they still need the settlements issue. XRP ledger is going to be a main component in this. All right, and then again, apparently Swift has a 3-stage implementation process, and as I Am Legion says, one of my favorite Twitter personalities, design, build/test, and then go live. And this is the Swift GPI strategic roadmap. I'm not sure how old this was, but again, as we can see here, design, we have all the building and testing, and then going live hypothetically around here. So the DLT proof of concept for real-time Nostro reconciliation to be confirmed, go live 2019. Now, you know how all of this works. There's always hiccups, there's always hurdles, so it'll all be slowing down. But again, guys, we're on track. Look at this. If you are invested in XRP right now, pat yourself on the back, because this is huge. And I'm excited to see even the showcase at Sibos. I'm excited to see what comes of Sibos this fall as well. All right, and then we're going to finish off with this. I'm going to be a little vague because there's a lot more research I still need to do with this, but I Am Legion did post this, and I'll probably have to dig into it, and maybe he'll watch this video and, supply me with some additional information. But very, very cool. So right here, we got SBI Holdings, we have Ripple, we have, implementation of all the 5G networks, and then this company is pronounced Huawei. All right, so Huawei, and they are a beast that I've never really done too much digging into. So again, they're a Chinese multinational technology company. They do all kinds of telecommunication equipment and, sell consumer electronics as well, smartphones, etc. And just so you know, in terms of, their assets, it's valued at least $97 billion in 2018. And that's US dollars. So they're a big company. And actually, in 2018, it overtook Apple as the second largest manufacturer of smartphones in the world, just behind Samsung Electronics. They're huge, 72 on the Fortune Global 500 list, and Huawei reported, its annual revenue was almost $109 billion. So they are a monster. So let's see what we have here, though. So we have another group, a big consortium with Huawei, of course, Tencent. So we have some recognizable names already here. And let's keep going. Look at all these banking consortiums in China, too. 31 Chinese firms form financial blockchain consortiums. Chinese financial services firm Ping An Bank and subsidiary of QQ, instant message app maker Tencent are among more than 30 technology and financial firms in China that have formed a new consortium dedicated to blockchain technology. And now, remember, guys, I'm not saying XRP at all. I'm saying blockchain, and essentially blockchain is just a database. But if they're, talking about payments and settlement, they're still going to need a cryptocurrency. And now look why I'm pointing towards XRP's involvement. Ping An itself is a member of the R3-led consortium of global financial institutions. In the past year and a half, working organizations have formed around securities settlement and capital markets use cases. R3, you remember the huge lawsuit, they own a boatload of XRP. R3's first settlement mechanism with their Corda open source platform, XRP. Plans within plans. It's almost like just all in front of us, but no one's really connecting these dots. And the XRP community, these guys are great researchers. So thank you. Right here, Ping An Group Chief Innovation Officer Danielle Tu positioned his company's participation through the lens of financial innovation. Tu told CoinDesk, "We wish to take advantage of this opportunity to collaborate with local financial and internet companies and contribute to the exploration of blockchain in China." As we move on, we got R3 right here. The group is second organization of its kind to emerge in China. We got even Vitalik Buterin and R3 researcher Tim Swanson as advisors. So more R3 name dropping. And again, that might not always mean something, but I still want to show you how small the world really is and how connected all these groups are. As we go down a little lower, we got China's Ping An raises $2.2 billion for 3 units from SoftBank, IDG, and SBI Group. So now you got them in cahoots with SBI. Japan's SBI Holding Inc.'s JV, a joint venture with China's Ping An Unit 1 Connect. And then Ping An becomes first Chinese member of R3 blockchain consortium. Plans within plans, guys. I can't keep saying this. It's unbelievable. But again, guys, please check out this string. It all started on I Am Legion, and he did post this on July 28th at 6:32 a.m. So go ahead, check out the script. Why can't I talk? I'm stuttering. This string, and go through all of this too, because Stored XRP has some interesting points. I don't want to talk your ear off. I want to go over some relevant news instead of just complete speculation. But to me, this is unbelievably relevant because we are nearing SBIVC's and Japan's involvement into XRP, and we'll potentially see, some big moves ahead in the future, whether it's, in the next month or end of year. So I'm very, very bullish on XRP, guys. Hopefully this makes sense to you. If anyone wants to clarify anything I may have, messed up on, please do. Please go over, Tencent, Huawei, different connections. I'm going to do some deep dives later on as well, so I can come back with a little more clarification. But again, guys, SBI is coming. Millions upon millions of customers. Remember Brad Garlinghouse, BG's famous quotes. And then XRP Ledger. Xcurrent superior in every way as well for the software platform. It's getting Ripple's customers on board. And of course, we still need the settlement aspect taken care of. And it's all going to go through the XRP Ledger, whether it's for remittance payments with, Ripple XRP and Ripple using that company, or they're just going to use R3's partner. And again, we were just talking about R3, and they'll still use this, the Corda XRP settler, whether it's a giant bank or a financial institution. And thanks to MoneyGram and Multi-Hop, we can work around that as well without regulation, so banks don't actually have to purchase XRapid. So check this. We have the bank, payment rail. They're going to use MoneyGram as an XRapid partner. MoneyGram will then source liquidity by the XRP and settle through the XRP ledger. Very, very cool. This is an awesome graphic, so definitely give Bread Garlic House a follow as well. But again, guys, I could talk about this all day. Let me know if you want really short 5-minute videos, if you want, 30-minute videos, 10-minute videos. Tell me the sweet spot. I'm still experimenting. So I will see you in the next one.